Amateur Radio Service. Element 2, Technician Class Question Pool. These questions are from July 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2018. This lesson will cover questions T1A05 through T1A08. Question T1A05. Which of the following is a purpose of the Amateur Radio Service rules and regulations as defined by the FCC? A. Enhancing international goodwill. B. Providing inexpensive communications for local emergency organizations. C. Training of operators in military radio operating procedures. D. All of these choices are correct. Let's examine. This will fall under 97.1E. We look 97.1 is basis and purpose. E says continuation and extension of the amateur's unique ability to enhance international goodwill. This would mean the answer to this question is enhancing international goodwill. Question T1A06. Which of the following services are protected from interference by amateur radio signals under all circumstances? A. Citizens Radio Service. B. Broadcast Service. C. Land Mobile Radio Service. D. Radionavigation Service. Let's examine. We're looking at 97101D and 9730302. 97101 General Standards. D is no. We see that O is must not cause harmful interference to and must accept interference from station authorized by to the FCC in the Aeronautical Radio Navigation Service, and it continues. So the answer to this question is D, Radio Navigation Service. Let's move on to question T1A07. What is the FCC Part 97 definition of telemetry? A. An information bulletin used by the FCC. B. A one-way transmission to initiate, modify, or terminate functions of a device at a distance. C. A one-way transmission of measurements at a distance from the measuring instrument. And D. An information bulletin from a VEC. So we're going to look at 97.3A46. This is under definitions. We see the definition of telemetry, a one-way transmission of measurements at a distance from the measuring instrument. The answer to this question would be C, a one-way transmission of measurements at a distance from the measuring instrument. In this example, I'm going to be using a satellite transmitting to base stations on Earth. And in this case, the telemetry is a one-way signal to the receiver. Let's move on to question T1A08. Which of the following entities recommends transmit-receive channels and other parameters for auxiliary and repeater stations? A frequency spectrum manager. B, a frequency coordinator. C is FCC regional field office. Or D, the International Telecommunications Union. We see that 22 is frequency coordinator is an entity recognized in a local or regional area by amateur operators whose stations are eligible to be auxiliary or repeater stations that recommends transmit receive channels and associated operating and technical parameters for such stations in order to avoid or minimize potential interference. That would make our answer to this question B, frequency coordinator. Let's take a look at a real-world situation. Your typical metropolitan area has several repeaters. In this case, we're going to be looking at 3. If we had a repeater with a usable transmit pattern of this circle on 146.94 megahertz, and we had another repeater at this location with a usable pattern, and it's also on 146.94 megahertz, there's probably no problem. However, if we add a third repeater, possibly a downtown repeater on top of a tall building, it may have a larger footprint. And you can see in this area, you'll have segments from all the repeaters that overlap where you could potentially have interference. So a coordinator might recommend a different frequency for this transmitter, 147.140, and maybe a different frequency for this repeater, 147.280, and thereby eliminating the interference on all of the repeaters operating on the same frequency. That concludes this lesson. Thank you for watching. References for this video are the U.S. Government Printing Office at http://www.ecfr.gov. Please be sure and subscribe.